Hello everyone, welcome to the next L&D space, and this time we're going to focus a lot in terms of partner standards. So for people that actually attend Lead Summit back in May, you have already heard about this thing. So I would suggest you, if you are still in this space, treat it as a revision, especially right now all of the project is going into realization stage where this thing is going to be very important for you, okay? So first of all, again, introducing myself, I'm Sherbelle, your MCVP of AIESEC Malaysia for term 18-19. I'm gonna be the one to walk you through this L&D. Let's do it. So the contents that we're gonna cover today is definitely three. First is what is exactly is partner standard, and then how can we implement it, especially if you are OCPD that is part under project director or taking care of learning partner at school, or specifically you have some financial partner that actually require you to do partner standard, or you are actually part under NCR teams that is doing OP management. This is exactly very important for you in terms of how. Okay, then lastly, why is it so important to implement partner standard as well? So I think I just want to recap a bit on the big picture of what is actually happening in terms of project stakeholder connection. So if you look into that, in the end of the day, by the end of the project, especially in post-realization stage, we actually want to make sure that our MOI or our KPI achieve, right? So how to achieve it? Definitely, no doubt, we will through our EP. That's ultimate our customer, which they are the one who actually buy and experience our product, and it's the main channel to achieve the project MOI. Okay, so this is what makes AIESEC special, right? So when we look into partnership and also OC, you are literally the resources to make this thing happen. Okay, when we talk about partnership, is the one who are enabling opportunity through external resources. They are the one who help and enhance your customer to achieve the ultimate goal. And your OC is definitely you yourself, and your team is the one who assists in the process of making sure the task that needs to be done in order for us to execute the end outcome. Okay, so again, if you look into the stakeholder of the project itself, EP is definitely our customer. OC team is you yourself as organizing team, and then enabler is the project partner itself. Okay, so when these two things treat as the resources from OC team, the things that you need to do is to make sure that you take care of EP experience, right? All the inner journey in the sense of how can you make sure that EP is being developed. Second, your partner role towards EP is to make sure outer journey happen. Okay, EPJD, challenging tasks, environment, or are you allowed that kind of support system in between these two stakeholders happen as OC team? Okay, so what about the relationship between OC team to enabler is that you need to make sure that you as OC team start to map EP experience together with your partner. Okay, because your partner is the resources to enhance EP experience, which is why partner standard exists. Okay, the reason of why we have partner standard is to make sure that we map EP experience together with partner, and with that we are taking care of partner experience as well, to make sure that long-term and also satisfying partnership could be delivered. Cool. So partner standards is something that to ensure quality being enhanced at the same time. It's also a standard for you to make sure that all the bare minimum needs to be achieved. The ultimate objective is to make sure that they have a quality experience. Lastly is to make sure that they actually want to retain with us. Okay, it's one of the strategies to make sure retention happen as well. So definition of partner standard, if you look into that, is to again deliver expectation service to our customer, and also make sure that we do the bare minimum in terms of quality control. Let's go with details. When we go into every single part of partner standard, this is the things that you have to know, which is how can attraction, consideration, experience up until post-experience phase is something that help you to execute or help you to guard the entire partner standard, or which standard should be happen in which phases. So this thing you must be very familiar with that in order for you to know which standard met with this which partner itself. Officially introduce you, this is the partner standards that you have to know for Global Village product. Okay, so that's 8 partner standard in total. So if you look into the entire standard itself, half of the standard needs to happen when you actually want your partners to sign MOU with you. Okay, which is expectation setting, selection process, job description, and working hour. Okay, then right now when we are entering preparation phase until post-experience phase, that's another 4 standards that is extremely important for you to take note as well. Okay, so this thing it should be already done when you're actually doing consideration and closing MOU with your partner itself. which is, in our case, if you receive from your VP, is pre-MPS form. Okay, so when we look into that, you can definitely read a bit in terms of what is the content of every single standards, what is the things that you need to do. Second, specifically for selection process, this standard is only applicable for OP or full sponsor FP where they actually want to sponsor EP. Okay, if it's, for example, school, learning partner, or every single thing, this thing is not relevant for them. Nice. So GAD discussion, and also your working hour, how many working hour each of your partner can provide. Okay, cool. So right now, I actually want you to look into what should be focused at this period of time, especially coming to preparation phase or experience phase, is that these 3 different standards, which is starting from preparation, 1 standard, experience, 1 standard, another 2 standard is in post-experience. Okay, so if you look into that, preparation, there's 2 different standards that you need to take note. First is partner preparation meeting. Are you sitting down with a partner to actually set expectation? Especially another standard is also only applicable for OP or FP is visa and also work permit support. Okay, so I'll walk you through the details because this period of time is extremely important for these 2 standards. So partner preparation meeting, in the sense of how you can do that is definitely through your pre-MPS form, which is already here. You can click in just to duplicate one and move to your LCPD respective folder. So in this, the objective of this meeting is to make sure that you align EP and partner together before they go into experience phases. Okay, so make sure you review every single volunteer profile, only for OP and full sponsor FP, other is not necessary. And then what is the expectation setting in terms of JD, and then also set goal together with your partner. What is the thing you want to see? Because in EP side, they will do mapping as well, experience mapping. So you should actually set expectation with your partner first, then you bring all the expectation to your EP when they are doing personal journey mapping as a EP. Okay, then you need to make sure that both sides is aligned in terms of connection between the goal with AIESEC LDM. Lastly, you align on when AIESEC and the partner needs to review the goal setting. Okay, so this is goal setting, but last stage is to make sure that you have a space to align again. When is the next stage? Next time, we need to review that. Okay, then for work permit and also visa, is that it's only applicable for OP and full sponsor FP that you need to walk through all this information with them. Okay, make sure your partner are very clear about EP visa, what kind of visa they are using, or like what's the procedure on getting all these legality documents to be done. Okay, so here is certain SOPs that you can refer into that, or certain activities for you to make sure that you are conduct these 2 standards. Okay, mainly the activity is details finalization or do expectation setting, and in case if you have any break approval, what is the things that you need to do in this phase as well. Okay, so walk through that, and definitely it's based on your structure, what team leader need to do, what team member need to do in PD4iGV. Cool. Then next is experience standard. So there's only one thing that needs to happen here, which is experience evaluation. So when it comes to experience evaluation, it's definitely meet MPS form, right? So in this case, it's about the first expectation setting with your partner when we are having preparation phase, right? Remember I was saying that the last stage is that you should sit down with your partner to set out a goal or set expectation. Lastly, to connect with LDM. So in the middle of the experience phase itself, you need to review it with your partner. How much is already achieved? What is their experience when they are actually working with our EP, and then what needs to be happen. Okay, so my suggestion is that how many touch point needs to happen, it solely depends on you. But from here, you have to at least make sure 2 touch point it's being done in between you and partner to evaluate the experience itself. Okay, so one is during the middle of experience, which is, for example, 6 weeks, it's in the middle, 3rd week you review. And another one is end of the experience. Right after end, before EP go back, you also sit down to have a final review evaluation. So this thing, I will only suggest you to do for OP and full sponsor FP to have 2 touch points. But for learning partner at school, you can just do it once, which is the middle of the experience that you review together with them. Okay, so how to do that? You can definitely click into the Meet MPS form. Inside all the questions, it allows you to actually collect information to prepare for this evaluation meeting itself. Cool, so this is a bit of the XOP as well. You can just do a pause and then read through. the information, what you need to do as a call to action. Okay, certain activity, for example, value delivery, satisfaction measurement in the middle of partnership, and then realignment again, and then collect data. Lastly, showcase your partner experience because it's already 3 months past. Cool. So lastly, post-experience standards, which is the last standard. So in this standard itself, the things that you need to do is definitely after your EP go back and then you start to conclude and close your projects by collecting all the information, your EP experience, conclusion, output, project DM, project MOI and every single thing. So my suggestion is you have the last meeting, sit down with your partner to look into all these conclusion of the project itself and the satisfaction of your partner. So before you go to meetings, definitely send a form to your partner. Make sure that you collect info from them first in terms of their NPS, satisfaction, and every single thing. Then you can prepare for the meeting. Okay? You can evaluate the content, contract deliveries, evaluate JD, KPI, and also what is the achievement. Feedback provides to AIESEC delivery from partner side. Lastly, the last thing, the objective of this space is to retain them. Okay? Offer of contract renewal or extend the partnership. Okay, that's the ultimate objective after the review itself. Okay, so one thing to take note, the meeting cannot be held at the same time as the final review evaluation for OP and full sponsor FP. Okay, project partnership report needs to send to partner within 1 week after the closing meeting. Okay, this is very important for us to really conclude the entire partner meeting with them. Nice. So a few activities you can look into that. Definitely impact and partnership report as a closure. And then way forward, which is the ones that I was mentioning, extension of the partnership or renew the contract itself. Lastly is internal transition. Okay, in IGV, every 6 months, we change people manage the projects. So make sure that you as the one who handle the project, you have a transition between the next OCPD or next director PD to actually transit this account in terms of what is the information. Okay? Yep, so that's the conclusion of the 4 highlight standard in this period of time, especially 5, 6, 7, 8, which is why, lastly, as a recap, I just want to bring out this picture again. In the end of the day, if we want to make sure that every single EP receive quality experience, you need to make sure that your enabler are ready to provide that kind of experience as well. Yep, so certain call to action here, remember to use one tracking system for all standards, okay? So certain tools that you can look into that, partner standard tracking tool, you can click into that. It's actually, okay, I will show you here. This is actually DMF that is already renewed and embedded the entire tracking system for partner standards, okay? So it's the same, you go to partner tracker and then you go to the end of partner tracker. If you can see, we embed one thing called preparation until experience implementation. Inside, we already put down all the standards that needs to be fulfilled, details, measurement, and every single thing. So once you are done, make sure you put a click in your DMF and then eventually it will show you standard fulfillment. Okay, lastly, the most important one, make sure everything is uploaded to HubSpot account. Yep, so allows me to go back for a while. So with here, make sure you copy and paste the new format of tracking tool into your current DMF, okay? Then track implementation to the tracker, like every single partner, the tracking system should go into DMF. And then make sure you set the tracking routine between you and people that is working on partner standard. Lastly, your documentation, every single thing that you create for partner standards, form, report, etc. should all in HubSpot. Okay, we will do audit by the end of September to look into all the output itself. Yep, so that's all for the space. If you have any question, feel free to just put down your question in the comment chat box below or just personally approach me. We can talk a bit more about that. As a recap and the tips for everyone that's watching this video, make sure that this 3 things is always in your mind. First, partnership is a resource to enhance leadership development in our customer. Okay, that is where you have to know partner experience and customer experience is synced. When you want to make sure customer experience is good with your EP, then you need to make sure your partnership experience is good as well. Lastly, again and again and again, you need to make sure that you are internally driven, understand what is happening internally of your projects, every single thing, in order for you to make sure that you can map the relevancy towards externals as a resources. Cool. That's all from me. Thank you, everybody. See you soon.